Right, in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make an instrument to make small trees, miniature trees like this. You're going to make a little machine first to be able to make the trees, and then I'll show you how to make the trees. These are the things you're going to need. You're going to need some drill bits, a nail, an insert from a pen, some screws, pencil, some nuts and washers, a stick, broom handle, some bits of wood, a clamp, the drill, a pair of pliers, and a screwdriver. Right, first thing is to drill some holes in this piece of wood. Doesn't matter what size it is, but it's going to go here. And I'm going to drill some holes. Okay, the next thing is to take this block of wood and make a mark, and I'm going to then drill a hole here. And I take a bigger drill that's going to be the size of that to make the handle. Take that to about there. Then I put the screw through there, and I'm going to make it with the handle through there. Right, I'm going to just cut that. So that is going to be our handle. Now I'm going to put that here, and I'm going to find where this is going to be a crank handle, so I'm going to cut it off about there. I'm going to take a washer and maybe a spacer like a nut or a washer. Now I'm going to get a piece of this pin and just chop a piece off. And from this side I'm going to want to get this piece of pipe onto the nail. But in order to do that I'm going to have to heat it a little bit. Match, just warm it up a bit so that it will go on. Now I'm going to put a washer on there and then put my little thing which I had heated so it would fit snugly, and it's going to hold it on there. So what we've got now is a crank handle with a nail, and I want to put a hook on the end of it. Very carefully. It's quite tricky, but okay. Right, then this piece of wood's going to fit here. I'm going to then clamp that to the desktop. And then that is going to go here more or less. I'm going to take a saw and put it down the middle of this piece. Right, so that is more or less our instrument that we're going to use to make our trees, and now I'll show you how to make the tree. Alright, first we take a piece of wire, which I've got from just scrap wire, and I'm going to bend it in half and hook it over the hook here. And one is going to go into the groove and lift the other up. The next thing is to take some twine, and I'm going to comb it out with a comb so that we're going to get the fibers nice and teased out. And depending on the kind of tree you want, you can make the fibers of different lengths. In this case we're going to have a medium-sized tree. Okay, now that I have the fiber laying on the block there, I can put that down and then hold it with pliers and start to crank it, and then remove the block once it starts to catch on. And you wind it until you have like a bottle brush. Now with the pliers I can cut it off, and then I have a tree which I can then trim to however I want it. This is the basis of our basic tree. Next thing is to take your tree and some white glue. I think they call it Elmer's glue in the States, or PVA and polyvinyl acetate, with about a 50% mixture. There's two ways you can do it. We're going to then glue it. You can either put it straight in to a bigger container and then let it drain, and then once it's more or less stopped dripping, with a brush you can comb out and compose your branches a little bit so that you can get your what's going to be branches or blobs of branches composed reasonably well. And then you take some sawdust which has been coloured with paint and dried so that you get coloured sawdust, and sprinkle it all over. Get it right into the centre of the tree, and it will stick. An alternative to, if you haven't got that much glue, you can still get some glue and paint it on with a brush. Just glue it in there so that the whole thing gets wet. And then you can put it in a piece of polyurethane to dry. After it has dried, because the glue solution is not that thick and economic, you will find that some of the fibers on the end don't quite get there. You can either leave it like that as a tree that's a little bit old, or you can dip it again to get it a real full-bodied tree. And then, now that the tree is wet, repeat the process with your sawdust, and you'll get a much fuller-bodied tree, if that's the kind of tree you want. You'll see the difference between a tree like that, which is a lot more full-bodied, and a tree that's a little bit straggly. Another way also to do the ends is to take your glue with a brush, dab the ends of those bits of fibre so that you're getting the points coated with little blobs of glue. And then, now that it's got points on there, get another colour which is a lighter colour and spread some out, and then roll your tree in it so that the tips of the branches get a lighter coloured sawdust, which helps to simulate a tree that has new, well, you can sprinkle it as well, that has new leaves coming through on the older vegetation, are usually a lighter colour. It adds a little bit more variety to it. And there we have a slightly nicer looking natural